practicing real estate, so you're representing another for compensation, without a license, it's a class 6 felony. It's the only felony in my book and title. They're not messing around. It's it's a pretty serious thing. So there's cease and desist orders that go out and that are enforced, but you face felony charges, and having to report that you've been convicted of a felony is a life-changing thing for people. That's really the big thing, is you don't want a felony on your record. So
nope, not at all.
That's kind of what occurred to me. Is I was doing wholesale transactions and investments in Illinois, and then the legislation came down to where, hey, if you're gonna wholesale transactions, you have to become a licensee in Illinois, and that's what I had to do. So it's either abide by the law or you just don't do it any longer. So
that's it. Yeah. Because all licensees, whether when you're not the client that you're representing, because the client you owe your full body of fiduciary duties to, but the customer on the other side of the transaction, if you're in the regulated community, you must deal fairly with them. And so that's really the arm in the Arizona law, that if investors became regulated under or forced to obtain real estate licenses in order to do real estate investing, that's really where we would have to focus in a lot of our investigations. So yeah, you didn't represent the other person, but did you deal fairly? And
so when we say investors, it's not just wholesaling. Are you talking across flipping, landlording, all across the board?
Right. So some states have really just cracked down on anything real estate requires licensure. And I think they're still working through the nuances of how to implement that. So legislative session is always fun, and Elena's sitting here on the couch with me, and she's our legislative liaison. So poor Elena has to read every bill that's proposed, and there are a lot of bills that are proposed, and then we have to sort of determine, does this in any way, shape, or form impact real estate, and is this something that we will be tracking on our bill tracker sheet? And a big discussion that happens every legislative session is, can we enforce this law? How would we enforce this law? What does enforcement of this, should this become a law, what does that look like? And then the big heavy lift comes of educating the lawmakers. So, who's the bill's sponsor? If we have serious concerns, might they consider addressing our concerns before it becomes law? Because ultimately, when it's delivered, it's a statute. So if it passes the House, it passes the Senate, signed by the governor, it becomes a statute. And I don't have a choice on whether or not I enforce a statute. Right. I have to read it, give it the purest interpretation of what the lawmakers meant in creating this law, and then I have to enforce it. And so to us, every word in these bills matters. And we spend a significant amount of time trying to figure out, what does that look like to the regulated community. And during the legislative session, we work with a lot of stakeholder groups, like you, to sort of say, this is going to impact you. Is this the best work that we can do for the people of Arizona? And it kind of goes back to the, what problem are we trying to solve, and is this actually going to solve the problem?
Love it. So right now in the department, what is like the main problem that you all are trying to solve?
The main one, a well-regulated industry covers so many different things. So I will say, in the title and chapter, there is not sort of, it's this one law that everybody likes to break. They believe in equal opportunity law breaking, and they break laws across the entire book and chapter. I think that's done so that everyone at the department maintains a high level of fluency in the little maroon book, because we are constantly with our nose in our law books looking to see, is this exactly what we are supposed to be doing? So there's not really any one thing. I would say in the world of investors and what we see coming in, where people are saying, this wasn't fair, I was not dealt with it fairly, is the cloud on title. And it's not necessarily taking a true equitable interest in recording it, because you can go and record grandma's chicken soup recipe if you want to, right? You pay the fee, the recorder records it, right? It's part of
right in.
That's it. And congratulations.